live on WBON TV Channel 9 and on radio at WEKY, WKXO, and WIRV. Support your favorite teams and sit back and enjoy the brought to you by Bishop Small Engine Repair, the Richmond Raceway, the Law Office of Patrick O'Neill, and Nuevo Vallarta. And now let's go live with your host, Michael Watkins and Samantha Burford.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome into the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Michael Watkins, Dawson Rule here. No Samantha on vacation. I think number 9 of the year, Dawson.
I thought it was 12.
Is it? Yeah, we got to give her a hard time. But Samantha's not here. You and I will try to hold down the fort here as we look at a lot of big sports news over the last week. We now have about a week off as far as transitioning in from basketball season into baseball and softball. It's a sad time because we were hoping to have a game tonight, had the sports show at EKU. Obviously, one of our teams unable to make that happen for us, but terrific basketball season, a lot of fun. Let's look back at just some of the the big moments from the year, the big games from some of the individual players, and obviously we'll look back at the games on over the weekend as well. But just a fun basketball season. I think back to Reed Shepherd and North Laurel coming to town. You were on the call for that game.
That was a great game, awesome game.
Berea going to another All-A Classic state tournament. On the girls' side.
And that model Berea boys game,
yeah,
that was
coming
really
down the wire.
exciting.
So a lot of fun moments. You look back at some of the big performances. Jalen Davis had some big games. And Jay Rose had some big games. Zach and Brayden Hudson had some big games. You look back at that Frederick Douglass game on Saturday. Just Madison Central unable to get it going offensively. That was really the biggest factor to me. Defense, at times they played well, but first of all, Frederick Douglass, if they hit shots like that, they're going to win the region championship tonight. There's just no doubt about it. They were hitting everything. Kai Simpson, we know he's a good player. He was hitting shots. Armello Boone, who I love his game, love the game of Armello Boone, and even Avion Chanel, who might have been the biggest factor in the win for Frederick Douglass, and they knock off Madison Central early on Saturday.
Well, it was an exciting run. They were our last team to make it, but Douglas just hit all their shots on Saturday afternoon. They were getting shots that usually they don't shoot that well, and Central couldn't really hit anything. Jalen Davis in the first half was kind of carrying the load. I believe at halftime he had like 17 points or something like that, which was crazy. In the second half, he kind of tapered off in scoring, but he probably just got tired because he was pulling his team's weight a little bit. But the lead just got to be too much, and Douglas is just too daggone athletic for Central's big three pretty much to keep up with.
Yeah, you look at the guys that stepped up. Busson had a good game for Frederick Douglass. Again, Simpson, Chenault, and Boone, we know what they were able to do. And Frederick Douglass is a good basketball
Very
team.
good.
And even Tylon Webb played well for them, hit some big shots from beyond the arc. Davis had a good Jalen Davis game, scored a lot, but unable to really score enough. We said he was going to have a big performance if he wanted to get his team in the region championship game. Had a big first half, as you said, but in the third quarter, you're having to not only score, you're also having to guard Kai Simpson or Armello Boone to try to stop them. Just made it really difficult. And Jaden West played well. Robbie Todd had almost a double-double, but, again, not enough as the Indians fall and their season comes to an end. Sad to see the career of Jalen Davis. Now, obviously, Todd and West, two really good basketball players as well, but Davis is a kid we've grown to love. I remember being on the call for that game against Lexcat 3 years ago when he was a sophomore in the first round of the 11th region tournament, when he really burst onto the scene. And, man, just his game has really just kind of kept going from that moment. Sad to see his career come to an end because I would love to call Jalen Davis games for the rest of my life because that's the kind of kid he is, a great kid and a really good basketball player.
Well, I remember first hearing about him years ago when he was in 6th grade at Cottle, and, this could be a guy that's big, and then didn't really hear much. I didn't really follow middle school ball, but when he got to Central, I was like, all right, well, he's all right.
Yeah.
And then you were talking about the Lex-Calf game sophomore year when he went to region with his team, and that was kind of the year that everyone's like, okay, Jalen Davis is going to be the guy for the next couple seasons at Madison Central. And then last year, really good year. And this year, he was pretty much the leader of his team. Everyone, when they think Madison Central basketball, like Jalen Davis, he won that co-11th region player of the year. he was just so good. And it stinks when you see them take the jersey off for the final time. But, you know, he may play college ball somewhere.
Well, we're hoping he's playing college ball on that court right there
He got a little warm-up.
He's playing on right now, or that we look back at some of the highlights, because we would love to see Jalen Davis in the maroon playing for EKU. He's got an offer from the Colonels. He's got an offer from Marshall as well. And just a terrific career for Jalen Davis. Jaden West obviously providing the highlights for us the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
Robbie Todd, a good solid last couple of years. He's going to be playing at EKU as well. So it won't be the last we see from those guys either. But the boys' basketball season comes to an end. On the girls' side, same thing. Frederick Douglass knocking off Lady Indians on Wednesday night. And that was a fun game, too. I mean, Central jumped out to that 17-2 lead. I'm like, oh, wow, this game's going to be in our favor.
A blowout, yeah.
And then you bring in the Darrington girl off the bench for Douglass, who, by the way, was it 27 points, 29 rebounds or something like that in the region championship game?
Against Catholic.
I mean, incredible numbers for Darrington in the 11th region championship game Saturday night. She had a big game on Wednesday night as well to help her team get to that region final. This Madison Central team, we really have been talking about them, you know, potentially being the team next year. Like, they've been building toward next year. Bailey Hensley going to be a senior. The Campbell twins and Strader and Carter, they're going to be up there and get more experience. So they kind of, not really took us by surprise, but we're kind of a year ahead of schedule from where they thought where people thought they might be. Had a really good season. Bailey Hensley, one of the top players in the 11th region. The Campbell twins and Strader and Carter, the defense that they can play. Just not enough size in this game against Frederick Douglass, and that was the biggest difference on Wednesday night.
Well, they're not going to be getting any more, I guess you could say, size down low unless they get a transfer in. So that may be a problem next year, but obviously you have a whole offseason to game plan for opponents like that. And, you know, if they are as good as predicted, which I think they will be, there's a good chance that they're going to be playing Douglass in a game like this next year in the 11th region tournament. And then you have a different game plan. You're much more prepared for them. And then Metcalf right there, she'll be coming off the bench. She's pretty solid for Central, too. So, yeah, they have a really good bunch.
Well, you look at this team, every player that played in that game on Wednesday night other than Eve Carter coming right back next year. And then you throw in Cameron Ridrikoff, who transferred in from Franklin County this year. She's going to be available next year. Again, not much size there, but another weapon you can throw out there offensively. So that's another piece. You know, Miles Girl could get better. Tiana Long can get better. So this team has a lot of potential next season as well. They bring everybody back. And just sad to see that game end the way it did when we thought, man, they're going to blow them out and be right there. And then everybody was saying after that big upset of Franklin County by Lexcath, the winner of this game was going to be the region champion, and that turned out to be the case as Douglass steamrolled Catholic in the girls' championship as well. And a big performance by Darrington was the reason for that. But I'm excited about, I know we got a long way to go now, but girls basketball in this district, you know, obviously the Central girls going to be good. Berea brings back everybody. And then Madison Southern, Hadley French, one of the best players in the 11th region, so they're going to be right there as well. Our district is going to be loaded next year. Model, although they're very young and still a little bit inexperienced, they bring back everybody. So this district is going to be very, very difficult to win. I would say three of the top 5 teams in the 11th region going to be in the 44th district next season.
Well, I'm already excited to see how it plays out. The thing with Southern is I want to see who they're going to have out there starting next year. They're losing quite a bit, which is worrisome. But when you got a stud like Hadley French just out there dropping, you know, she was probably leading her team in scoring, I think, all year as a freshman. It's like, I cannot believe that.
Well, you got French, Sandlin's another freshman, Ashlyn Eastep, really good defensive player and a good shooter. So they've got some weapons that they'll have out there with Hadley as well. They don't have much size coming back, but with the portal, you never know.
Who knows?
You just never know.
It's going to come up.
As far as looking ahead to next season goes, we did have some late-breaking news late this afternoon coming in from Madison Southern that Bill Bevins is stepping down as the head basketball coach of the Eagles. I got the email from Jay Simmons. Nathan and I did put that out there on Facebook and Twitter. Bill Bevins only got that 1 year, and it's been his dream to be a head coach. Obviously, you enter a situation about a month right before the actual season begins, so not much time to prepare. Didn't have a chance to go through spring ball and summer ball and all that stuff. But a tough situation to enter too for Bevins, who, you know, kind of took this team that he's been a part of for a while. I think he's been an assistant for almost 20 years. So he's been around for a while. He knows this team. It's hard because there's so many different personalities over there with that team, and the Hudson twins and Jay Rose and Nobby and Ursula, and you had to kind of manage all those things. I think it was a little bit difficult for Bevins to kind of get all those guys to buy in because they knew what kind of season they had last year. I mean, they set the tone for what they want Madison Southern basketball to be, and they were not able to continue that and live up to that same hype this year. Kind of a disappointing season for the Eagles.
Well, I'm interested to see who they're going to get as their new head coach because next year everyone in the county knows, man, Southern's returning all that talent, and most of them will be seniors. You've got the Hudson twins, you got Rose, Nobby's going to be a junior. What's the Davidson,
yeah.
Sorry, Avery Davidson. He's going to be another guy that comes in that shoots awesome this year. He got about 6 to 10 points a game this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is just going to be so loaded.
Well, here's the statement released from Madison Southern earlier this afternoon. We are extremely grateful to Bill Bevins, who has served as Madison Southern High School's interim boys basketball head coach for the 22-23 season. Bill stepped into an extremely difficult position on short notice and led the Eagles to a 19-14 record, district runner-up, and an 11th region tournament appearance. He had notable wins against Pulaski County and Danville Christian while winning the Lee's Famous Recipe Holiday Tournament. He also coached the Eagles to key victories over national opponents in their holiday tournament down in Florida. Bill will be stepping aside as the Eagles begin their search for a head coach. We want to thank Bill and Jessica Bevins and their family for their dedication and support for our high school and basketball program. Again, Bill's been around for a long time. This was his dream. Got the chance to be a head coach. And listen, and he even said it, you know, when you take that next step up to that first seat, there's a lot more that comes with it than you might think about. And nowadays, you got to run the social media. You got to handle all the things outside of practice, and then try to manage all the things that you have to manage within the team as well. Very difficult situation for Bill Bevins to step into. But as you said, whoever takes over this program has got a team that might go into the season as district favorites because we don't know what Madison Central is going to have. We've not really seen these young guys, because of all the older guys and the success that they've had, get much playing time. You know, Alan Feldas even said that during the district tournament. You know, I've got to give these guys some minutes because this is my team next year. Keith Stewart and Parker Mullins, or I guess Mullins graduated. No, he's a junior. He's a junior. That's right. Yeah. So you got Eli Steele coming back. You know, Landon Ray. Jeremiah Haskins hitting the three ball, you know.
Morrison.
There's Ty Thomas. There's a lot of guys that could be kind of unknowns for Madison Central next year. And then we don't know about Kenyatta Harge. I mean, is he even going to be able to play basketball next year? So a lot of unknowns for next season for the Indians program. Berea brings a lot back. I mean, they looked really good this year in that district tournament as well. So I think as far as talent goes and what we do know, Southern brings a lot back next year and has a chance to get back in the win column for a district title and potentially make some noise in the 11th region. And it's an exciting time to be a Madison Southern fan, but Jay Simmons and the staff over there have a very difficult decision. But I think this might be the move. You know, you go ahead. You talk to Bill Bevins, and Bill might stick around. I mean, he's been an assistant coach for a long time. He and his family have settled down here. They've got some roots now, so he might be a guy that sticks around on the staff because he's been around for such a long time that he can kind of help this next head coach kind of settle down into the position with all these the hype that will surround them going into next year. But I think it's good to go ahead and get the situation taken care of. Now you can prepare, plan, and try to get a coach hired in the next, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks. And then that way you've got a full off season to get a program in place, to get conditioning schedules in place, maybe some open gym, and get ready for summer ball with a new head coach for Madison Southern.
Well, Bevins, while he was here in his one season, was a great friend to all of us. Always came to talk to us before games, and glad that he got the chance to do that. Like you said, it was his dream, and hopefully he does stick around because he's a good ambassador of Madison Southern basketball and boys basketball, and just being a great coach, friend to the media, and good to the fans.
Yeah, I talked to him a lot. Talked to him today, actually, after I got the news, and just, wished him luck on whatever he ended up doing. He said might still be around. So
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
he is, and we'll be able to still talk to Coach Bill Bevins. Let's take our first commercial break here on the newscast, folks. When we come back, hey, basketball's over with. Now we got to announce our all-coverage area team.
Woo!
We've got a Defensive Player of the Year for the boys and girls. We've got the Player of the Year for the boys and girls, and the all-coverage area team. We'll look at that when we come back. Don't go anywhere, live here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Whether you're in the market for a brand new Chevrolet, you're looking for a pre-owned quality vehicle, or your family car is in need of service by our GM certified technician, Jack Burford has what you need. Come to Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond for all of your automotive needs. Family owned and operated since 1964, Jack Burford Chevrolet is your hometown Chevrolet dealership. Check us out at jackburford.com or come in and see us today. We are located on the EKU bypass across the street from Walmart.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Jennifer, and in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow. Cadet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shendawa. We can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 Northwest Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see ya.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
When perfect is in the air, you can feel it. Presenting the new Ultimate Comfort System from Lennox, the most advanced heating and air conditioning system ever.
Call 859-779-0122 now and get the best Lennox home comfort systems at a price you'll love. That's affordable heating and air at 859-779-0122 or online at affordableheating-air.com.
Hi there, I'm Alan Feldhouse Jr., head basketball coach at Madison Central High School. Here at MCHS, we have built a winning team. I'd like to tell you about another local winning team, family-owned and operated Bluegrass Restoration and Construction. They specialize in roofing, general construction, and home maintenance services. Just like on the court, you need a team that will work together to get the job done, and that's exactly what BRC does. Give them a call at 859-353-1133. Row Tribe.
We're back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Dawson Rule, Michael Watkins here with you on a Monday night. Glad to have you along with us. Kind of a slow week for us, Dawson. We got a week off of no games, and then you're on spring break next week. Going to be down at the beach. And, seeing all the girls run away from you. So
I guess so. they come to me when I'm here. No, I think it's the opposite way around. They avoid me when I'm at the beach.
There you go. Maybe that's what it'll be. I don't know if that's what it'll be. Let's talk. We were just talking about high school basketball coming to an end, and after football season was over, we had our big show where we crowned the all coverage area team players of the year during football season were Jaden West and Malachi Wood. And Malachi just got his number for the University of Kentucky.
Right?
70. I like that. Yeah, big 71. I can see him being a 71.
Yeah, he's a big old boy. That's an offensive line number, and I expect him to get a little bit of time next year at UK somehow, some way.
The big blue wall needed some help this past year. Malachi could have stepped in and been a big piece. And I like the fact that he's been down there since December as well. Got his degree early and is already a part of the program down there at Kentucky. But that gives us a chance now to look at our all-coverage area team for the girls and boys basketball. And as it should be, ladies will go first. Let's look at our all-coverage area team for the girls. And no surprise here. We've got Hadley French, Brittany Campbell, Natea Strader, Sophie Brewer, and Bella Moberly, the all-coverage area team for the girls' side. There you see Dawson, French, Campbell, Strader, Sophie Brewer, and Bella Moberly. Again, these ladies doing a great job of helping their teams have successful seasons. Got a Berea player in Brewer on there who at times kind of had to step into a role she's not been used to. Brewer did a great job of kind of stepping into that starting forward role that Hal and Chesney Lovins had for a long time over the last couple of seasons for the Lady Pirates. Had a great year, shot the ball well, her and her brother Liam. Maybe the best ever brother-sister shooting combo I've seen here in Madison County. Did a great job for the Lady Pirates this year. Strader and Brittany Campbell, man, their defense, they set the tone for Madison Central. The full court press, the way they were able to force turnovers, turn those turnovers into points for their team is really what helped Madison Central become what they were this year. Bella Moberly had some big games, double-doubles, rebounded well, played good defense for Josh Curtis at Madison Southern, and we've already talked about how good Hadley French is over for the Lady Eagles.
Yeah, all of these girls were great in all the games we did this year, just stats-wise, leading the team as a scorer, rebounder, or just a leader. Moberly at Southern, Brewer at Berea, Strader and Campbell at Central, and French, the youngin, I like to call her. I just can't believe a freshman does all that at Southern as a leader. And then some of these other girls are young too. Campbell, she's a sophomore.
So is Strader.
Sophomore. So, wow, it's just lots of young talent in Madison County on the girls' side. Wow.
4 of these girls coming back next year. Moberly, the only senior. So they'll all be coming back next year and be vital parts of their team's success going into next season. Now let's look at our Defensive Player of the Year for the girls. And no surprise here, I think, when folks talk about defense and you think about the Berea Lady Pirates, you got to think about Abigail Beard. Beard this year was the player that would defend most teams' best players. I mean, she did a great job against Hadley French in the district tournament. Several games that we had for Berea this year, she was locking down the opponent's best player. And also was, asked to score, 8 to 12 points a game for Berea. So Abigail Beard, our girls' Defensive Player of the Year for what she was able to do on the defensive side for Damian Stepp, a player who can go one-on-one with pretty much anybody, athletic, fast, and she's not afraid to get up in you either. And if you go around her, she's got the kind of speed where she can catch up to you and still make a hard shot for you.
Yeah, I feel like Abby Beard next year as a senior is not only going to improve on her defense, but maybe find a way to score the ball a little bit better too for her team. Because this year they had some trouble scoring. So maybe as a senior leader, all right, well, we already know you're good at defense, Coach Steps would say, or something like that. So Abby, can you go out there and score for us a little bit more now? And if she does, man, look out. Berea could be really good next year.
Yeah, and Abigail Beard, she's been that player for them for the last couple of years. Been that go-to player to lock down the opponent's best player. I remember her guarding the Lynch girl from Owsley County last year, not this past year, but the last year in the All-A Classic. It might have been 2 years ago, whenever it was. Just a really good one-on-one defender, and she is our girls' Defensive Player of the Year. Now, you may have noticed a name not on the all-coverage area team list, and that's because our girls' all-coverage area Player of the Year, Bailey Hensley. Bailey Hensley, top 5 in the 11th Region Player of the Year voting, reached her 1,000 career point total this year, grabbed a ton of rebounds from Madison Central, and really the focal point of the offense for the Lady Indians this season.
Yeah, she's going to have a big senior year next year. I was talking to somebody the other day that didn't really know much about Central basketball. I was like, yeah, that 42, I went to a game, that 42 is tough down low. And I was like, yeah, she's got a whole nother year left, so just get ready for more of that. Bailey Hensley's a great basketball player.
Well, Bailey, her brother Brady, had he not missed half the season in football, probably would have been our football player of the year, because he still was able to have an absolutely incredible football season even with all that. And we always try to normally pick a senior for awards like this, but as we said earlier, I mean, most of our, really key basketball players are coming back next year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I felt like Bailey Hensley, with the numbers she put up, deserved to be our all-coverage area player of the year. Now, there are two ladies that we don't have graphics for that I really wanted to point out, because I feel like had they been able to play this year, they probably would have made one of these lists, or made the maybe the player of the year much more difficult to earn for Bailey Hensley. First off, Chesney Lovins for Berea and Madison Southern. Transferred over to Madison Southern right before the season started. Unable to play her senior year. Really good basketball player. A lady that I still think could go play college ball somewhere with her scoring prowess, her her ability to handle the basketball, still be able to shoot. A player I think that could really be an impact player. Had she been on the floor for Madison Southern, they could have been one of the best teams in the 11th region this year. Already were, but could have been a much more difficult out had she been available this season.
They only lost to Central by 3 in that district championship this year, and if they could have had Lovins, man, I mean, that they were destined. This was their year, but they just had so many things that didn't work out for them, with injuries or players not being able to play. So Central kind of took the district, but man, this Southern team this year, we can't let it go about how good they were. They won some good games.
Yeah. So that leads me into my point on the other player that could have been on the list, Reese Estep.
Yep.
Yeah, Reese, obviously, the last couple of years, just not being able to be Reese Estep and be out there impacting games like we know she can, rebounding, hitting shots, playing with her little sister on the hardwood. She would have been on this list as well, because those ladies and her and Chesney are kind of the same player as far as being able to handle the ball, to shoot a little bit, rebound, score. So two really good players that we didn't get to see play this year. Would have loved to see Reese. Now, she is going to go play college basketball. She is going to the next level. But those are two players that we didn't get a chance to really have an eye on this year because of injuries, and then, of course, Lovins not being eligible to play.
Well, they were at every game on the bench, sticking with the team.
Had the glasses on during the district tournament.
They had the fancy stuff going on. So, heck, they were with the team no matter what, from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. They were hurt. And Chessie's place, she couldn't play. They still stuck around and went for the ride. You got to give them credit for that.
Now, that's the ladies. Congratulations to all the all coverage area team, our defensive player of the year, and our player of the year. Now let's look at the boys' side. First, we'll talk about the all coverage area team. Copeland, pull that up here for us. Our producer, Copeland Peterson. Dawson, this was a little bit harder to kind of put together. There were so many really good players we could talk about, but I felt like this list comprised of, some good guards, good forwards, good scorers, good rebounders. Jay Rose, unbelievable player from Madison Southern. He's on the all-coverage area team, along with Zach Hudson from the Eagles. Cam Puckett from Berea, who is going to be a force. He's only a sophomore, I believe. He is going to continue to get better and better and better. Had a great game against Madison Southern in the district tournament. Kel Vickers. I mean, Kel, man, he was so good. I love the Kel Vickers shot. It's one of the best shots I've seen this year as far as his release, the stroke from Kel Vickers, and then Robbie Todd. Robbie averaging basically a double-double for Madison Central this year. Those guys are all coverage area team for basketball.
Well, you got representation from pretty much all four of our boys teams on this one. Like you said, Puckett, really young, kind of had that coming out. We all knew he was pretty decent, but that coming out game against Southern, where it's like, man, he's taking it basically himself with a couple other teammates, of course, to Madison Southern, who was a heavy favorite there. Of course, Zach Hudson and Jay Rose. I mean, Hudson was pretty much leading the team when Rose wasn't, if he was out for a game or something like that.
One of the two.
Vickers, I mean, he and his brother and Bendari were kind of the leaders for model this year, but Kale, like you were talking about, he had a shot.
Yeah.
Didn't he hit the game winner, too?
I can't remember if it was Kale or Jew. I can't remember which one it was, but the game winner was impressive.
And then Robbie coming back for his COVID year just did better than he did last year. Showed out, got that extra year to get better. And, heck, I think that extra year helped him be able to go to EKU because he didn't have that offer beforehand. That extra year of basketball down here, of course, his dad coaches there, helped him get better, and now he gets to go be an EKU Colonel.
Yeah, Robbie, very interesting player, can play both sides, very good athlete. I think where he will play at Eastern, will it be on a wing or a post? I think that's really what A.W. Hamilton needs to figure out, but he's got a good one in Robbie Todd, who will be playing for the Colonels. A name we don't see on there, it's the twin brother of Zach, who will be our Defensive Player of the Year on the boys' side, Braden Hudson. Now, Braden, this year, I talked to him a lot on Instagram. That's where I talk to Braden Hudson a lot. And listen, if you say, Michael, pick me one player who will go and just guard the other team's best player, might talk some smack, might get a technical foul, but he is going to get up in and agitate the other team's best player. That is the definition of Braden Hudson. I love this young man's game. So much fun to watch. Again, if he's on your team, you love him. If he's not on your team, you're going to hate him because that's what kind of defense Braden Hudson plays. A lockdown defender. He and his brother Zach, really good individual defenders. And Braden, I think he had a great game against Central in the district championship game. I think he had over 20 points, played good defense against Davis, giving up some height and still been able to defend. He is our Defensive Player of the Year because he great at one-on-one defense, gets in the passing lanes and creates steals, and just a really good hustle guy that you need on your team. That's Braden Hudson.
Well, you said he's got a lot of fire. Both of those twins do. And Braden, yeah, I love his edge. You know, he gets some technical sometimes, but like you said, if he's on your team, you love him. And when we were covering him, he's always getting in players' faces, talking to them. Probably we can't hear what he's saying, but he's probably
it's all good, though. He's just being nice, I promise.
He's just getting in their head, which is what you want to do as a good defender. You're like, whatever trash talk they're saying, but I love it.
I'll say this. I mean, I was nowhere near the athlete that Braden was, but he kind of reminds me of myself back when I played. I could never score. I could never score the way Braden Hudson does, but that was my job when I played high school basketball, was guarding the other team's best player and talking a little smack. Even when I go play church league ball, that's what they tell. Hey, Watkins, you got that? Talk a little smack to them. So that's what I do.
You come down and hit a three in their eye, right?
No, definitely not. They hit some threes in my eye, but as the defensive player of the year, that's going to happen to you every now and then when you guard the opposing team's best player. Love the game of Braden Hudson, and just excited for him next year because he and Zach and Jay, if they can, guys, let's do this. Let's come together as a team. They got something really special over at Madison Southern, but those guys have got to buy in together if they want to make it that way. So Braden Hudson, our Defensive Player of the Year, and to no surprise, our all-coverage area MVP Player of the Year, my man Jalen Davis. Jalen this year has got offers from EKU, Marshall, among a few others.
Tarleton State, too,
yeah. Co-11th Region Player of the Year, and just you talk about loving the game. I would love to be able to shoot like Jalen Davis, have that, be in my bag like Jalen was against Western Hills. Just one time in my life to be able to just go out there, hit shots the way he did, get around defenders the way he did, even dunk it like Jalen Davis can. Just one time, would love to be able to have the talent that young man has out there when he's on the hardwood.
And if he's on a fast break, he can stop on a dime, hit a 3-0 but net. If he's going through the trenches in trying to get to the paint or mid-range, he pulls up over a tall guy, can hit it. Even if he's off balance, he can. I was like, man, how does he keep hitting these shots? But man, Jalen Davis is just a great basketball player overall. That's awesome.
One thing that Douglas did with him was they were very physical with him. I mean, Davis was, he was on the floor, I feel like, half the game. He
thought some of those should have been fouled.
Yeah.
Call them.
Well, but the thing is, they were letting them play on both sides.
They were.
There was one time where Davis, he kind of elbowed Kai Simpson, and they called a foul on Simpson. There was one time Davis got an elbow to the throat. They called it against or they didn't call anything. I don't believe that.
They just let it go.
Yeah, let it go. So. Davis took a lot of shots in that game against Frederick Douglass, but you know what he did?
Kept going.
Every time he got down off the floor, he would get back up, and that's the kind of player Jalen Davis is. Really good basketball player. Again, Jalen, let's go ahead and commit. Let's get you in the maroon and white next year. But just a tremendous job on the season for Jalen Davis. A lot of T-shirts of the CT Diesel performance of the game for that young man, and he is our coverage area player of the year. Before we go to commercial break, we talked about a couple other players on the girls' side. A couple of names I want to point out on the boys' side that weren't on the coverage area team. Another player that I love over at Madison Southern, Casey Nabia. I feel like all the time I was talking about Nabia being the X factor for the Eagles, and I think that's one thing you got to talk about when you talk about Casey Nabia. His offense, he had some big games this year, and when you play with guys like the Hudson Twins and Jay Rose, there's really not a lot of shots to go around.
That's what I was gonna say.
But and obviously they're really good players. So Nabia at times when he was needed to score. Okay, I'll step up, hit a big three-pointer. Had a great game. I think it was against Lincoln County or Danville in the least famous Recipe Holiday Classic that we did. Did a tremendous job there, and I just love the game of Nabia, a hustle kid. I feel like he's an Energizer bunny, just never stops, always going.
Fast.
And that's Casey Nabia, and a player that I really want to watch out for next year.
Well,
Dawson.
Nabia, they just got to find a way to get him more shots because he can hit them. We saw that when he did this year. Just there were some games where it was top-heavy in scoring where they could have won if maybe Nabia had a couple more points or maybe did some things different because we know he's a good guard. He's quick. You know, he's not the biggest guy, but he can go take it to the rack if he needs to over a big guy or shoot the ball or something like that. So, yeah, Casey Nabia is an X factor even next year.
Over at Berea, they got a lot of really good young guards. I love the game of Bill Evans and Liam Brewer. Two guys that, if they can get some size to them, could be big factors in Berea. They're building something nice over there. I like what Coach Fields has done with this young team. They were playing their heart out against Madison Southern in that district tournament. Blevins and Liam Brewer, two really good young guards for the Berea Pirates who you're going to have to watch out for over the next couple of years. And over at Model, they got some good young players too. Parker Noblet, they got a couple of guys that got some size. Crockett, they got some weapons, I think, that could be factors next year. Crockett might have graduated. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they've got some guys that I think could be good factors for the Patriots. And then for Madison Central, again, we talked about it. Who is going to be the guy? I think when you look at who they're bringing back, Landon Ray is going to have to be the go-to guy for that team next season.
Well, he's definitely their scoring guard, and when he came off the bench, he hit a lot of shots this year. Obviously, they've got Mullins and Steele, and they can score, but they're not exactly scoring guards. They do the other stuff, just run the point or get big rebounds, assists. So Ray may have to be the scoring guard next year for Madison Central.
Folks, we appreciate you joining us here. Congratulations to all the players. We always leave somebody off. We've got so many players to choose from, but we do want to try to highlight the ones that we saw who had great seasons this year and give them our all-coverage area team, our all-defensive players of the year, and our all-coverage area players of the year here for WBON TV. Step aside for another quick commercial break. Lots more to get to here when we come back. The EKU season is now over. Basketball ends for them. Baseball, full. It is already underway for EKU, baseball and softball. And our high school teams will be underway next week as well. We'll look ahead to that when we come back on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Whether you're in the market for a brand new Chevrolet, you're looking for a pre-owned quality vehicle, or your family car is in need of service by our GM certified technician, Jack Burford has what you need. Come to Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond for all of your automotive needs. Family owned and operated since 1964, Jack Burford Chevrolet is your hometown Chevrolet dealership. Check us out at jackburford.com or come in and see us today. We are located on the EKU bypass across the street from Walmart.
I'm Michelle. And I'm Jennifer. And in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Cub Cadet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop's Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 Northwest Avenue in Richmond.
We can't wait to see you.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
When perfect is in the air, you can feel it. Presenting the new Ultimate Comfort System from Lennox, the most advanced heating and air conditioning system ever.
Call 859-779-0122 now and get the best Lennox home comfort systems at a price you'll love. That's affordable heating and air at 859-779-0122 or online at affordableheating-air.com.
Hi there, I'm Alan Feldhouse Jr., head basketball coach at Madison Central High School. Here at MCHS, we have built a winning team. I'd like to tell you about another local winning team, family-owned and operated Bluegrass Restoration and Construction. They specialize in roofing, general construction, and home maintenance services. Just like on the court, you need a team that will work together to get the job done, and that's exactly what BRC does. Give them a call at 859-353-1133. Road Tribe.
Back here live on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Dawson Rule, Michael Watkins here with you. You know Samantha Burford today on another trip out of town, but she'll be back next week. We won't have a show next week. We'll tell you why here in just a few moments. But first, Dawson, let's say thank you to our great sponsors. Obviously, Jack Burford Chevrolet. Folks, the used car market is absolutely incredible right now, and you want somebody that has the experience and the info to get you the best deal possible. Jack Burford Chevrolet is there for you. You can check them out online, jackburford.com, and see the entire inventory as well. Those new 2023s continue to arrive over there. They got all kinds of SUVs, trucks, sedans at Jack Burford Chevrolet, across from Walmart on the bypass there in Richmond. The Eastern bypass is where to go check them out. Normally we're live over at Jack Burford Chevrolet, but with no guests and no Samantha today doing the show from in here in the studio. Also, want to say thank you to Nuevo Vallarta. We saw the commercial there in the break. We were talking about chips and salsa, and you know the pollo bandito, and
man, the cheese and the chicken and the rice,
the salsa. I mean, listen, you can't go wrong with Nuevo Vallarta.
Man.
I was actually in an argument over the weekend with what was the best thing on the menu, because there's so many good things at Nuevo Vallarta. Go over there and check them out. Tell them that the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show sent you over there at Nuevo Vallarta. Also, the law office of Patrick O'Neill. A lot of times, you know, you never know what you're going to need legal advice for. And for a free consultation, give our friends over at the law office of Patrick O'Neill, located over in Breathitt County, but he serves all over Central and Eastern Kentucky, and that's because folks from all over the area need someone they can trust, and that is the law office of Patrick O'Neill. Give them a call today at 606-666-2990, or like the law office of Patrick O'Neill on Facebook. And we've also got more sponsors. Dawson, we have to say thank you to Bishop Small Engine Repair.
right down the road.
Listen, I was talking to my dad. He came over to the house yesterday. Mowing season is here.
Yeah,
It's already here. First of all, we haven't had any snow. We had, what, maybe one day of snow that we were able to go and maybe sled in. And the weather, although it continues to be cold, I mean, my grass is growing. So it's time to get the mower back out. If you need a new mower, maybe your mower, you want to have it checked out before you start mowing season, give our friends at Bishop's a call. Like them on Facebook, located right there on Northwest Avenue in Richmond. And so many other great sponsors, Affordable Service Solutions as well, Bluegrass Restoration and Construction. Yeah. And here soon we'll have Richmond Raceway back on with us as well.
Dirt track racing. I went to a race last year to do a story, and I came home and I had dirt all over me. But it was fun. You want to bring earphones, though, though. It's stinking loud, but it's a good time.
Real quick, let's talk about EKU basketball coming to an end. The Colonels losing the semifinals on the boys' side and the quarterfinals on the girls' side. But the future is so bright with EKU hoops.
I was just saying earlier in the sports segment, man, just don't let the transfer portal hit EKU hard. Nobody can leave. We need everyone to stay because both teams are on the verge, especially the men, on the verge of winning the ASUN. Because if I'm right, isn't Liberty leaving next year?
Pretty sure they're going to the Sun Belt, I think.
Then Kennesaw won it this year, but I don't know who they're bringing back. But EKU on the men's side at least bringing almost everybody. There was a good for Rob, but he's been there a while.
And Rob's a really good defender. Woody a good energy guy. But you got some guys that aren't playing right now. There's two guys that have been practicing with the team, Onewino, and there's the other guy as well that could be stepping right into those roles and be factors next season. I'm with you, though. Let's get everybody to stay and bring in some more freshmen because we got some guys. I mean, Robbie Todd's going to be there. Hopefully, JD might be there. Some other guys that might be stepping on the hardwood for EKU. And you got to think, Turner Buttrey more experience, Jackson Holt more experience, Isaiah Cozart another year. Go ahead and book him down as the ASUN Defensive Player of the Year. And Blanton. Let's keep Blanton as well. We got Moreno. We got Parker McKinney. We got to keep Blanton in a EKU uniform next season.
Well, NIL, let's step up in some way or somehow. Get him his deal to make him stay here in town. We need Day-Tay.
On the girls' side, how about Antoinette Walker? Man, she has been so good this year for Coach Todd. Obviously, a disappointing way to end their season, but from going over to Ireland, to the Bahamas, and everything that they did.
Boston even. They went up there.
I saw Matt Rome put it on Twitter over the weekend. They're going to have a lot coming back next season as well. Plus, you return the player from the torn ACL. And who knows? They might have some more players enter from the transfer portal and freshmen. A lot to still, I think, be excited about on the girls' side as well.
Well, an improved record from last year. Coach Todd, I believe last year was one game under 500, but there was an extra game or two in there from the ASUN tournament. This year, he was above 500, and they lost in the quarterfinals. They had a tough draw. They were the 5 seed, and they were selected as the 5 seed preseason. That's where they ended up. But Coach Todd has said before, he's told us, it takes a little while to build, and, he's getting there. So give EKU women a couple more years, get them some players in, they're going to be really good.
What was it, 10th for the boys and they finished 3rd?
Yeah.
Is that what, that's pretty
Almost
good,
beat
A-Dub.
Liberty on the road, too.
Pretty good, A-Dub. Let's keep it up, my man. Love A-W Hamilton.
Most exciting 40 minutes,
Let's step aside for one more commercial break, folks. When we come back, we'll look ahead to baseball and softball season for the local high school teams and tell you where we're going to be next week as well, here live on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Whether you're in the market for a brand new Chevrolet, you're looking for a pre-owned quality vehicle, or your family car is in need of service by our GM certified technician, Jack Burford has what you need. Come to Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond for all of your automotive needs. Family owned and operated since 1964, Jack Burford Chevrolet is your hometown Chevrolet dealership. Check us out at jackburford.com or come in and see us today. We are located on the EKU bypass across the street from Walmart.
I'm Michelle. And I'm Jennifer. And in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Cokedet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 Northwest Avenue in Richmond.
We can't wait to see you.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
When perfect is in the air, you can feel it. Presenting the new Ultimate Comfort System from Lennox, the most advanced heating and air conditioning system ever.
Call 859-779-0122 now and get the best Lennox home comfort systems at a price you'll love. That's affordable heating and air at 859-779-0122 or online at affordableheating-air.com.
Hi there, I'm Alan Feldhouse Jr., head basketball coach at Madison Central High School. Here at MCHS, we have built a winning team. I'd like to tell you about another local winning team, family-owned and operated Bluegrass Restoration and Construction. They specialize in roofing, general construction, and home maintenance services. Just like on the court, you need a team that will work together to get the job done, and that's exactly what BRC does. Give them a call at 859-353-1133. Road Tribe.
We're back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Dawson Rule, Michael Watkins here to wrap things up. And Dawson, talking some high school baseball and softball now. It's right here. We got baseball and softball coming up for you on Monday. Both Madison Central and Madison Southern baseball and softball will play on Monday, and both games are in Berea at Madison Southern. And our plan is to be able to do both games. Now, the way we're going to have to do this, Dawson, is Monday for the softball game. We'll be on top of the football press box, shooting kind of over the field. Now, normally, in a normal situation, we would not. We could kind of set up in a different spot and give you a better angle, but we got to have internet. There's only one hotspot that we're able to use, so we're going to do that with the baseball game because there's no way to get to the baseball field. So we'll get over there, we'll get everything set up, but the plan is to, right now, do both baseball and softball for you Monday at Madison Southern with the Indians and the Lady Indians kicking off against their big district rival.
Well, the baseball side of things, Central made a run to the Sweet 16 last year. Almost beat Russell County, who I think went pretty far.
The final, I think. I could be wrong on that. Their best players playing at Eastern.
Eastern now. And then the girls, I know the Central girls, they had a decent run. They went to 11th region, lost to Lexington Catholic, who did make it to the state championship and lost to Ballard, I believe. But
get your baseball knowledge. I love it.
Well, I was just about to say I'm gonna have to get caught up on my rosters and stuff for baseball and softball because I'm not in that headspace yet, so I don't really know what the rosters are looking like and all that.
Well, Bradley Pointer going to be the guy to watch out for Madison Central. Okay. Tremendous season for him last year, pitching and at the plate. He's going to be a senior this year for the Indians, and they got some other guys coming back. Of course, trying to defend a region championship will be hard because we know how good the 11th region is in every sport. We definitely see it in basketball. Baseball is kind of the same way with so many really good teams. For a big season from Gunnar Rodas as well as he steps into his role back in the outfield. And you got McNew and Dwyer over at Madison Southern. They bring back almost everybody from the team last year. Jeremy Wilson, a senior. Cameron Hughes, a senior.
Our basketball guys right there. The
Hudson brothers. Hudson brothers going to be there as well. So a lot of guys to watch out for. And Landon Noe, a name to watch out for. Carson Liver is a good baseball player. So they got some guys coming back over at Madison Southern as well. And again, our plan is to be there Monday night for both the baseball and the softball games. Looking back at what Pointer was able to do last season, just man, when he was on the mound, you were supremely confident that the Indians were going to win the ball game, and a lot of times they did just that. In that region championship game against Sayre, Matt Johns took the mound. He went 4 innings. John Gerard came in for the save. So they've got a lot of guys like that who they had last year to kind of rely on. But this year, Pointer going to be that go-to guy. Last year, Pointer, in 886 pitches thrown a 2.93 ERA in 57 and 1/3 innings pitched. He struck out 75 while only walking 13. That is some big-time numbers for
at the high school
Bradley
level
Pointer.
too. Yeah, I mean that's really impressive. You know, you got to have players like that step up if you want to repeat a run. And you know, we'll see how Central's baseball ends up this year, the first couple weeks. See if they've won a lot of games. Maybe they're poised to make another run this year. Maybe Southern can make some noise in baseball this year. There was a lot of unknowns with that team last year too. They had a decent year, but when they got to the districts, they just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, a lot of injuries too. I feel like the people out of the lineup. I know Hudson had kind of came on late after being injured for basketball season. Then he finally came back out there. So those are some of the names to watch out for. Of course, Berea and Model, they're going to be right there again this year. The Pirates, man, that game in the district tournament.
Yeah, when they go
goodness.
extra innings or something like that?
I think it was 11 innings. I'm going to try to get it figured out here. But that game was incredible to be a part of.
Berea walked it off.
Berea Model in 8 innings. So one extra inning, 6-5. But it was like one team had the lead, the other team came back and took the lead, and then in extra innings they flip-flopped the lead again. So just back and forth before Model ended up getting a 6-5 win. So much fun. Of course, Central able to beat Model in the district championship game. But listen, there's a lot to be excited about if you're those young teams too, because basically, if you play at Berea and Model baseball and softball, you're pretty much on the field as soon as you put on a jersey in high school. So those kids have had a lot of experience over the years. See if they can turn that into some more victories this year. And, on the baseball side, Scotty Sutton, his son, now the head coach of the Model baseball team.
Okay, well, I think for the smaller schools, baseball and softball, maybe a little bit easier to compete. Sometimes it just depends on what team you have, obviously. But the way those sports are, if you've got guys that have played a while, you have a better chance of upsetting maybe a bigger school like Southern or Central to them. So maybe Berea or Model has a good chance this year.
I was trying to see what year or what date that game would be on, Berea versus Model. Let's see if I can find it here. It'll be on April the 21st and on May the 9th. So those two teams will play on the 21st and on May the 9th. Now, on the softball side of things, for forever, Madison Southern was so good. They had all this talent. All these girls, I saw Caitlin Conrad had a home run in a game, I think, earlier today. Tessa Jewett's killing it where she's playing at. So a lot of really good players that used to play for Madison Southern up doing big things. Now Madison Central, it's their turn. When you see Skylar Jacob and Ison playing college softball, this year, the Lady Indians, with all this talent coming back, the 15th ranked team in the state for the preseason. A lot of hype around this team. Now they're trying to put it all together with Coach Hall.
Well, it could be a little bit of a carryover from last year, even though they did get upset early in the 11th region tournament. They got a tough draw with Catholic.
Yeah.
I mean, they were one of the best teams in the state.
Of course, they lose in the first round, or they lose in the district championship and have to come here.
Well, that's just how it is sometimes. But like you said, they're bringing so many people back, so many girls, and they're still kind of young. They're going to have some young girls playing too. And I don't know the softball standings, but besides looking at the coaches poll, but what did they go? 22-5, 22-6 last year, something like that.
Had that long winning streak throughout the season.
So with this schedule, I took a glance at it. They may be able to rattle off a ton of games in a row. Who knows how they'll start or who knows how they'll play? But they've got a good squad.
Well, you look at who they're bringing back. Obviously, Jasmine Kaler. You got Olivia Metcalf, who played basketball. Shelby Hensley. There's a Hensley on the softball team, and she's pretty dang good. Bailey on the basketball court, Brady on the football field, and obviously Shelby's a really good softball player. Kirsten Osborne, we talked to her on the sports show. She's playing as a senior this year. And I'm excited to see Cassidy Hack. Cassidy,
underrated,
a tremendous athlete. I've seen her make so many impressive plays out in the outfield. She's a good, strong hitter as well. Hits for average, hits for some power. So Hack is going to be a player to watch out for. She could be a force for the Lady Indians. And again, they'll take on Madison Southern. Game number 1 coming up on Monday. We're going to be there for all those games coming up Monday, both the girls softball game, that one will start at 6 o'clock. 5:30 for the baseball game. Hoping to get both of them on WBON TV for you. I guess we'll get over there and figure it out. But the plan is to have both of them for you, Dawson.
Well, hopefully the entire season, you know, for baseball or softball, we're bringing you tons of games from all the schools. I want to do a bunch of them, you know.
Yeah.
We did a few last year, but the home games for some of the schools is an issue, so we didn't do this. So this spring, plenty more opportunities for us to do it, and that's the plan.
Thanks for joining us tonight, folks. Appreciate all of our great sponsors. And along with the breaking news out of Madison Southern, Bill Bevins stepping aside as the interim head coach. They are now in the search for a new head coach. I've heard names. And there's one name I think could be at the top of the list. We'll see. But we'll follow that situation very closely. For Dawson Rule, our producer, Copeland Peterson, folks, thanks for joining us. Have a great Monday night. We'll see you next time on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.